Good morning on this overcast Monday morning, and thank you for coming in and joining me. My name is Helen Jennings. I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK, and I'm just fiddling about because one of the little jobs that I know that I need to do is put a new blade in my trimmer. So let us do that now before we proceed any further. And sorry I was a minute too late coming on this morning. I spent an hour this morning tidying up around about myself and got a bit carried away. Lost track of time. There we are, one new blade in my trimmer. I have to say that I've had this trimmer since they first came out. That's only the second blade I've put in it, so considering how hard I make my trimmers work, I think that's pretty good going. So I hope you've all had a fabulous weekend and got up to lots of nice things. As I say, I've just cleared my space around me, so we are looking a little bit better, but that does mean I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about what we're going to do this morning. A little bit of time, but not a lot of time. But what I did think that we would do this morning, I found in my catalogue the Pattern with the Playing with Patterns suite. Now I have to say, this is one of those suites that I haven't bought the entire suite. Surprise, surprise, I know I don't buy everything. I too have to make choices about which of the things I'm going to buy and which I'm going to have to either wait for another day or leave in the warehouse, because it just isn't possible for all of us to buy everything. But this particular suite, I love the papers. I've got at least some of all of the papers in the catalogue. So I love the papers, some really nice ribbons and things that I haven't got those yet, but I will, because I think those are beautiful. But the thing that I did get as well as the papers was the fabulous set of dies that go with it. And let's find dies are on page 178. And obviously, with all things, this is a bundle you could be adding if you want it to your starter kit. Morning, Jackie. So the dies that I've got are these little dies here, the Playful Alphabet Dies. And I really like them. They're a nice little size. We'll have a look at them in a minute. But I also like the fact that you get doubles. So you've got 2 A's there, 2 E's, 2 I's, 2 L's, 2 O's, 2 N's. So those common letters you've got 2 of. Now, as I say, I've not even played with these yet. Mine haven't been... Hi, Jane. Haven't been out of the packet. Let's have a quick look who we've got. So I've said morning, Jackie. Caroline, morning. Yes, it is the last week of 5 days. Yes, I was going to remind you all of that during the course of this week. So from next week, we should go back to 2 Facebook Lives, one on a Monday, one on a Friday. I should post a video that will go live on a Wednesday, so you will have a crafty fix on a Wednesday. And obviously there'll be things going on throughout the week, but yeah, I'm having to draw back a little bit from doing every morning. So morning to Lisa and Sarah and Emma and Janice. I would love to keep being able to do it all, but my brain is just about fried, I think. I need to be able to give myself a little bit of space in order to do everything that I need to be doing in terms of classes and things. I have to do some money making things as well, unfortunately, particularly if I want all the bundles in the catalogue. So thank you for that reminder, Caroline, and I will put that up. There'll also be a post going up a bit later. I'm going to be here later tomorrow, so it's not going to be 9 o'clock tomorrow, it's going to be 11 o'clock because I've got a training call I need to be doing at 9 o'clock. So Facebook Live will be 11 tomorrow, but I have scheduled a post to go up at about 11 today, actually, just to remind people that that is the case tomorrow. But back to today, Playful Alphabet. So it comes on your sheet like this, which is sticky. Actually, when you remove the letters, you will find, and as I say, I've only taken one off, you will find you've got like the little print underneath as to where it goes back, which is quite useful. But even with that, I think I am going to, I'm going to have it alphabetical, because I think that's going to blow my mind. But I will, I think, do something. So I've already cut a magnetic sheet ready to go with those, but I will sort those out later. But that's quite a nice idea to have something that sort of says, you know, there should be a H that fits in here, and there should be another E in that set. So I think that's quite a good idea. So I'm going to come up with something, but I think it will be on a magnetic sheet, and I think it will be in alphabetical order. But they have given you that guide, which is really useful. So these letters, they're not big like our really big letters were, but they are a good size. They're not tiny. In fact, if I'd got my ruler, which is just here, it does tell you in the catalogue how big they are, but they're around about 2 centimetres tall. Look, those letters. So they're a reasonable size, particularly if you've got, something long you want to say, long names and those sorts of things. You need to be able to fit them on. So yes, a nice little alphabet set. So we've got the alphabet set, and we've got the papers from this Playful Patterns set, and I thought that's what we'd have a bit of a play with this morning. So let's shut that up for now. This is the last few days to use that host code. There'll be a new host code going up on July the 1st, which is, I believe, Wednesday. Yes. And it's the last couple of days to get your bundle offer on your starter kit. So if you do want to get a starter kit, you do want to make the most of that bundle where you pay your £99, you get your £130 worth of goodies, and then on top of that you choose a bundle of your choice from the annual catalogue. It is a real bargain, and if you do have a wish list of things that you want, certainly worth considering. And I did post a link yesterday to the video that I made at the beginning of the month, so do have a look at that. Do give me a message, give me a ring if that's something that you're interested in. Let's have a little look at this patterns paper. We did have a quick flick through the other day, but I'm going to have another quick flick because I want some patterned paper. So what we've got, some lovely patterns in here. Spots and stripes, some sort of more monotones, dots. It's rather pretty, isn't it? A stripy one, a green one, a blobby one. They're just beautiful. Right, I think we're back to the beginning. Now I want some fairly-ish plain ones. Let's have a look. We've got that green one there. That's a possibility. There's a yellow, could go purple spots, or we could go that's a rather fun combination, isn't it? Actually, as is that. I think we're going to go this fun combination. Okay, now I've got some basic shapes out here. I have got a stitched label, I have got a stitched square, and I've got a small stitched rectangle. So I'm going to cut some of those shapes from some of that paper. No idea how this is going to go. This was just a random thought that floated into my head. We will see how it goes. Okay. Let us cut a yellow square, and I'm going to take it from the bottom, so that's a nice ombre type paper, and I'm going to take it from the darker bottom piece. Just there. And then I'm going to take a spotty label. I'm going to take, oh dear, a stripy rectangle. It's like a early years lesson, isn't it? What colour is the square? Okay, I think we might need I'm going to take a couple of stitched hearts, and I'm going to do those in the stripy paper too. One, two stripy hearts. Now, a stitched rectangle just here. I'm going to cut straight down the middle, so from there to there. Can you see what it is yet? So I'm hoping that that is going to give us, it might be a little bit big, might have to go, we'll see. It's quite fun having the two hearts, stitched hearts. Okay, because what it strikes me is one of the things that it's really useful to have an alphabet die for is those cards that you don't always find greetings for necessarily. And one of the ones in the past that I've struggled to find a greeting for is a new home. So let's have W, and we'll want a H and an O and an M, and because we can, there's a second E. And that's what makes it so brilliant, is that you're not having to, particularly if you're wanting to do something, cut a word out of a strip, the fact that you don't have to find a second, leave a gap and go back with a letter, which is often the way. I mean, there might be occasions when you do, but not quite so often. It's just fabulous. Right, what shall we have as our background to this? Not sure about the green. I think that might be a bit too yellow on yellow. I think we might go a fairly plain background actually. If that was blue, that one might have worked. But let's have quite liking the sort of the stitched effect. It almost gives it sort of a quilted type look to it. So I think we want to go something like balmy blue, or there's a bit of let me go back to the stitched rectangles. We make it a big stitched rectangle, and then that sort of is carrying on that whole stitched effect. Just a bit of playing with shapes. I'll take a piece of paw party and just cut out a large stitched . The pretty. Let's go on to a piece of Whisper White cardstock. We'll form our card base, and then we just need to decide, morning div, what colour we're going to cut our letters. Oh, look at that, isn't a new blade very satisfying? 14.9, we've cut it in half. We're going to use our scoring blades to score it at 10.5. I'm going to score that at 10.5 as well. I'm going to tuck that in the back there so that I've got that card ready to go when we need it. Right, now then, what colour shall we go? For not going to be quite big enough, so I'm looking to see should we have some paper in the background there. I don't think that's going to be too busy. Colour, let's see. I'm quite tempted to try it in black actually. Let's see what that looks like to make the letters a very bold, standing out statement. Let's cut them out. So this is the first time I've cut with these. Let's see what they come out like. Still very breezy out there today. Oh, where's that gone? There it is. Flinging them across the room is not a good idea. So those have all popped out quite nicely, haven't they? That's a nice spot. You could make some nice sort of spotty paper with that, couldn't you? Cut lots of those out. You could almost make your own geometric paper just using those two shapes. But that's for another card. It's not for now. Right, let's have a look. Let's get some glue. And I think we might want some dimensionals. Let's bring that about there. We could, making a statement. Quite right. Now then, I think I'm going to put the door flat. See if we can line our stitching up. So it does look as if it's all been stitched. There we go. I think the hearts I'm going to put up on dimensionals. You wouldn't really have your windows overlapping your door, but we're allowed creative license. Now, do we want to have this quite flat? Now, the other thing that I've not yet got, that I will get, is the, that I need to get my hands on, is some of the foam sheets. So we're now stocking sort of like the dimensional type foam, but as entire sheets. So obviously what you can do with your letters is die cut them from your foam sheet, so that you can sort of have a almost like a dimensional that is this shape if you want to layer those up. That wasn't a bad guess, was it, on there? Look at that. So let's have you and then down here we'll have stay, stay, stay. I know my finger might be just a tad sticky. So what I think I might do with that is, I don't think that piece is big enough. Let's have a look. No, it's not quite. think we'll give that a black mat behind. So let's stick on our letters. Out there. So I could also have cut these out onto some double-sided sticky so that they would have just peeled off the backing and go. Ooh. You. I'm going to have the H so it's sitting right on the end of that one. And the E so it's sitting right on the end of that one. And we'll put the other two in between. And I think we will pop this up onto some dimensionals. So it's just a very bright and bold and quite a fun little card really. It's very sort of play school, isn't it? What's through the heart-shaped window? That's aging me now. All the younger ones going, what is she talking about? But a fun play with patterns and letters. I think we need a little doorknob. That's what I was going to check. What yellow? Is it a bumblebee that's in this patterned paper? Crushed curry. In that case, let's take a shiny rhinestone and a dark calypso coral pen. The end on that pen looks very sorry for itself, doesn't it? We'll give that a sparkly doorknob. Do they? In Australia you still look through the windows. Excellent. Oh no, Play School has long gone here. We no longer look through windows. Not for a good many years. My children didn't look through windows, but I did. Obviously we have another shed there. That could be a boat. Stitched triangle on the top. You could have lots of fun playing with shapes. But just a very silly little play with shapes with the those letters, as I say, because things like new home are quite often the things that is quite difficult to to find. You can't always find those sorts of things. Right, let's have a look. Let's find. I do really love this sort of splodgy pattern. They'd put other things in its place, but oh, that blue boat would be quite nice, wouldn't it? There we are. I know the stitching is on the wrong side. Yeah, but actually something like that would be quite fun to make with children, actually. What shapes can they see, and what could they make up with patterned papers and shapes, and it might be quite a nice activity to do with the children, particularly if they're at that age where they love the big shot. Or your die cutting machine, whatever it is, they love putting dies through. You could see what sort of shapes you could build out of paper, and you could make little pictures and add their name to them. All good fun. So alphabet dies, really, really useful. Let's have a look at this one. Let's just check again on those colours. I can guess which it is, but I want to double check. So that's Purple Posy. So we've got Purple Posy, Crushed Curry, Calypso Coral and Blushing Bride in there. So I think I'm going to grab a piece or some I think we'll have some Purple Posies, and I might grab a bit of Blushing Bride. It's quite nice, isn't it? So let us create ourselves I think a Purple Posy card base. Let's score that at 10.5, so that's 14.9. Let's not do that. Let's not do that, Helen. Let's not, because that is the wrong blade. We've all done it and do it on various occasions. I could just stick that to a front of a piece of Whisper White, but let's try it again once more with feeling. Let's see if we can do it this time. Not going to do it that one though, because that's not a full width. I thought it looked a little short. Oh, I've got one here. Look, that's why it didn't want me to cut that score that other one. I've got a nice side opening one here ready to go. Thank you. We'll use that one instead. And then we'll have a piece of Blushing Bride to go on the top as a mat. 14.4 by 10. And then we'll have a piece of this fab paper. Nine and a half by 13.9. There we go. That makes more sense. Let's get the right bit. So that's already looking beautiful, isn't it? Without doing very much with that at all. And I think what we will do, we want to obviously we're going to stick with the new. I think this time we'll have a new punt the letter. You see, this is why I think I need them to be alphabetical. Let's have a new job. And I could go fancy label, but I think I'm going to, oh, actually we could go, there they are. I'll say where the stitch label's gone, they're here somewhere. We could go stitch label actually. Yep, I think that will fit in there, but I actually want that out of the pink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my magnetic base plate, my magnetic platform. I'm going to take a piece of Blushing Bride. I'm going to cut that about in half. I think I don't need all of that bit of card, and if I can get both bits on the bit at the same time, I will do. So I'm going to cut that out of Blushing Bride, and at the same time I'm going to cut these letters. So let's just rest them. Oh, don't go pinging. Might have to move that. We were doing so well, but that J just won't quite stand up straight. It's a wonky J. There we are, like that. Hi Glenda. And then let's chop a bit off of here. And we'll have the next one up. Oh no! No jumping about. Who breathed? They were beautifully lined up. Right, let's take our top mat. Nobody breathe until they're out the other side. Right, so we have a purple posy, stitched rectangle. Oh, that bee jumped. How annoying. If it wasn't for the fact that that bee jumped at the last minute, so that's just like sort of the negatives, if you like. Still have here the letters, so I could create a second new job card, but this one is a negative one. Not a negative as in a negative card. New job, you don't want to be working there, it's an awful firm. Not that sort of negative, but negative as in the negative cutouts. Let's have a little look what we've got in terms of ribbons and things we could be using with that. Oh, we're on the countdown. Only a week to go until I can get my hair cut. Really looking forward to that. That would be quite pretty. We could also I'm just scanning my stamp sets. We could actually put in a little congratulations, which would be quite nice. So I'm going to snip that off because we shall tuck that round the back. Yes, me neither. When my hairdresser rang me, Lisa, and said, "Hi, it's Kylie," I went, "Yes, am I pleased to hear from you?" I bet she was getting that from everybody. "How are you?" she said. Hairy. Very definitely, it's driving me mad. I mean, my hair is cut normally quite short, and I managed to get it up into a elastic band when it was so hot at the end of last week, and it just keeps, with the fan going, it just keeps blowing in my face where it's so long at the front, and it was just driving me nuts. So it was one of those, I just hope nobody comes to the door. I don't care what I look like. I have just got to do something to scrape this hair out of my face. Right, let's carefully put this to one side so we don't lose any of those little bits. Let's stick these layers together. Of course, the other thing that it's really good is if you've got both of my grandchildren have got unusual names. So my granddaughter is Thea and my grandson is Kellen. So they're not the sort of names that you find on things, but alphabet set like this does mean that you are able to personalise things for them. Which is good. And you have people that have sort of unusual spellings, or it may be that you want to make your scrapbook pages. They're really useful for those sorts of things. if you're doing a special home decor for a couple that have just got engaged or married or something that you can put their names on, that's good. And you've got the numbers as well, of course. So you've got, you know, you can put ages on birthdays, and that's incredibly helpful. You've also got things like hashtags, exclamation marks, all of those sorts of things that you're able to add things in. Equal signs, question marks. Will you marry me? That wasn't a proposal, just a suggestion of one of the things that you could do with it. Right, let's very carefully take our inner bits off of there. So obviously if I was actually going to send this to somebody, I would probably recut this with its wobbly bee, although, you know, we could use it as a feature. We could have made them all wobbly. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you're watching me on a big telly. How exciting, Doreen. Oh, I feel as if I've made it. Fame is mine. Not really, and I don't know that I'd really want to be. Right, let's see, that little one wants to come just there. Of course, if you wanted to, you could use the actual dies to sort of help you reposition these little bits in place. Sit the die back in and put these back. Are there holes at that positions? I don't know, I can't see my dies now. I've tucked them somewhere safe. Right, so new job. Let's put that upon dimensionals. I've occasionally watched things. My son came in once. He'd been out at work and he came in, and I don't think I was very well, so I was sitting on the settee. It's one of the rare occasions I'm allowed control of the remote control in a male household. And I was watching a crafter who does lots of, I don't know, sort of fancy folds and things, and I was sort of sitting there watching all these fancy fold cards, and a couple of days later he went, "Thanks, Mum. Every time I turn my YouTube channel on now, it's coming up with all these suggestions of other craft channels I'd like to watch." Because of course it was on his account, because it was on through his PlayStation. Quite right too. Far better that he should be watching craft channels, I think. Yes, absolutely. Because everything won't always go right the first time. Yeah. And don't forget, you're allowed to make mistakes. Yeah. Yes, when I first started, I started a job, and I remember somebody said, you can claim to be new in post for 6 months. Great. So of course I'm new in post. That needs a little bit of pop behind it. should even put something like "be sure to stand out." Text message sentiments, they'd be quite good to do, wouldn't they, with this sort of letters, alphabets. Now, of course, you could do things like, you could add in, so if it was an accountant, you could add in some numbers. Yeah. What I might do, though, actually, is I'm going to move these letters. I'm going to take, so I've got 2 O's. I am going to cut some O's. Oh, 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 oh. More for feeling, right. After I cut some of these O's, just because I think I'm going to add a few in, as we've got the yeah, might just leave it at that actually. Just to add a bit more calypso coral, so rather than having a sort of, we're just bringing in that spot of O. These are quite fun, but I could imagine that you could make lots of sort of, particularly if you've got lots of different coloured ones, you could have a mixture of spots and circles, make up a real fun pattern with that. Okay, so let's just put our little dots on. It's a really nice bright geometric patterns. Say, and there I've got a whole another letter set of letters that I could use to do another card. I'm loving the idea of using those O's for geometric patterns. Right, so we have had fun with shapes, letters and patterns this morning. So we used stitched square, stitched rectangle, stitched label and 2 stitched hearts to create our house with that nice big new home, because that's one greeting that it's quite difficult to get your hands on. And then we are new job with that beautiful dotty big blobby paper in the background. So just some fun with patterns and letters this morning. So yeah, Sesame Street today has been brought to you by the alphabet. So thank you for joining me for this fun morning of nonsensical playing around with shapes and letters, and I will be back tomorrow, but as I said, I'm going to be coming in later tomorrow, so it is going to be 11 o'clock our time, so it's going to be 2 hours later than normal. I hope that isn't too late. I don't think it's too late for you ladies across the other side of the world, but I'll be back then as normal at 9 o'clock on Wednesday. That was fun, wasn't it? I think it's time for breakfast, so have a lovely day.